The Galactic Senate chamber on Nexus Prime had never witnessed such silence. Representatives from 300 civilizations sat motionless, their breathing apparatus, vocal chambers, and neural transmitters all functioning normally, yet producing no sound. Even the ethereal collective, beings of pure energy who communicated through quantum fluctuations, had gone completely still. At the center of the vast amphitheater, Ambassador Elena Vasquez stood at the speaking podium, her small human frame dwarfed by the towering alien dignitaries around her. Behind her, a holographic display showed what appeared to be empty space, the coordinates where Earth's fleet was supposed to be positioned for the mandatory military inspection. "Honored representatives," Elena began, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustics, "you have demanded to see humanity's military capabilities. You have questioned our right to maintain sovereignty over the Sol system. You have suggested that a species barely 2 centuries into space travel couldn't possibly pose a threat to galactic stability." High Chancellor Vormax of the hegemonic empire leaned forward in his crystalline throne, his 12 eyes focusing on the human ambassador. "Your planet was given 60 standard rotations to comply with Military Disclosure Protocol 7. Our sensor arrays detect no significant fleet presence at the designated coordinates. This confirms what we have long suspected: humanity possesses no meaningful defense capabilities." Elena smiled, and something about that expression made several nearby representatives unconsciously lean back in their seats. "You're absolutely right, Chancellor. Our fleet isn't at those coordinates." She gestured to the empty holographic display. "Would you like to know where they are?" Before anyone could respond, the chamber's primary sensor array began emitting a low harmonic tone, the sound it made when detecting massive gravitational anomalies. The holographic display flickered, then shifted to show the space immediately surrounding Nexus Prime. What they saw defied explanation. Nexus Prime, the most heavily defended world in known space, surrounded by 6 orbital defense platforms and a permanent fleet of 2,000 warships, was no longer alone. Scattered throughout the system, visible only as gravitational shadows and subtle light distortions, were shapes that registered on sensors as nothing more than fluctuations in local space-time. "Dark matter," whispered Dr. Kethvar, the Andromedan Republic's chief scientist. "Impossible. No one has ever successfully manipulated dark matter beyond theoretical models." Elena nodded approvingly. "Very good, Doctor. Yes, dark matter. 27% of the universe, invisible to normal observation, but incredibly responsive to the right kind of gravitational manipulation." She touched a control on her wrist device. "Computer, illuminate fleet formation Omega." The space around Nexus Prime suddenly blazed with controlled energy as humanity's dark matter warships revealed themselves. Each vessel was a masterpiece of impossible engineering ships that existed primarily in the dark matter spectrum, visible only when they chose to interact with normal matter. They were massive, elegant, and utterly alien to conventional shipbuilding philosophy. The largest vessel, designated Event Horizon, stretched nearly 50 kilometers from bow to stern. Its hull composed entirely of stabilized dark matter, held in coherent form by controlled gravitational fields. Smaller escort vessels flickered in and out of visible reality, phasing between dark matter and normal matter states at will. "How long have they been there?" Chancellor Vormax's voice had lost its commanding tone, replaced by something approaching awe. "Since the moment this session began 3 hours ago," Elena replied calmly. "Actually, the Event Horizon has been in this system for 6 months, conducting detailed scans of your defenses, mapping your fleet positions, and analyzing your tactical capabilities. You never knew because you were looking for ships made of normal matter." The ethereal collective's spokesperson, a being of living light called Radiance of Truth, materialized beside Elena. Its normally blazing form seemed dim with confusion, The energy requirements for dark matter manipulation should be astronomical. No single planet could generate sufficient power. You're thinking conventionally, Elena explained. What if I told you that these ships don't carry their power sources, they are their power sources? Each vessel contains a controlled dark matter-antimatter reaction that exists in a state of perpetual near collapse, regulated by gravitational fields that we learn to manipulate from studying black holes. She gestured toward the display, where more details of the fleet became visible. Each ship was surrounded by a halo of distorted spacetime, bending light and gravity in patterns that created natural cloaking effects. Weapons ports were invisible until they fired, and their projectiles were dark matter constructs that could pass through conventional shields as if they didn't exist. The real question, Elena continued, isn't how we built these ships. The question is why we built them in a way that makes them invisible to your sensors, undetectable by your intelligence networks, and immune to your conventional weapons. Admiral Zinth of the Warcast stepped forward, his reptilian features tense with military concern. Are you threatening this assembly? Quite the opposite, Admiral. I'm explaining why threats against humanity are inadvisable. Elena's expression remained friendly, but her words carried an edge of absolute certainty. Every major military installation in this galaxy is currently under observation by our dark matter reconnaissance vessels. Every fleet movement, every strategic planning session, every classified military research project. We've been watching, learning, and preparing. The holographic display shifted again, showing a tactical overview of the entire galaxy. Hundreds of subtle markers appeared throughout known space, each one representing a human dark matter vessel in position near critical strategic points. The Vorthark Empire's new quantum torpedo development facility on Kepler 442b, Elena pointed to a marker. The crystalline hegemony's experimental time dilation weapons testing in the Magellanic Void. The Andromedan Republic's attempts to weaponize stellar engineering in the Proxima sector. We know about all of it because we've been there, invisible and undetected, for years. Dr. Kethvar's scientific curiosity overcame his shock. But why reveal this capability now? Why show your hand? Because, Elena said, her voice carrying a note of sadness, we've detected something that threatens not just humanity, but every species in this galaxy. Our deep space dark matter sensors have identified an extragalactic invasion force approaching from the Andromeda Galaxy. Their ships are larger than anything you've ever imagined. Their technology is based on principles that none of our civilizations understand, and they'll arrive in approximately 18 standard months. The chamber erupted in chaos as hundreds of species began talking, clicking, buzzing, and transmitting at once. Elena waited patiently for the noise to subside. Humanity developed dark matter warships, not to conquer, but to survive what's coming. We've spent the last decade preparing for a war that we hoped would never happen. But our preparation time is over. She gestured to the display, which now showed projected invasion routes from Andromeda. The invaders have weapons that can destabilize entire star systems. Their ships exist partially outside normal spacetime. Conventional fleets will be useless against them. Chancellor Vormax found his voice. What are you proposing? An alliance, Elena said simply. Your conventional fleets, coordinated with our dark matter capabilities. Your strategic resources, combined with our stealth technology. Your knowledge of galactic defense networks, integrated with our ability to strike from dimensions your enemies can't detect. She paused, letting the implications sink in. Earth's dark matter warships took the stage today, not to intimidate you, but to offer you hope. We've been preparing for this war alone, but we don't have to fight it alone. The question is, will you join us in defending this galaxy, or will you spend your final months debating territorial disputes while an enemy you can't see or fight destroys everything you've built? The silence that followed was different from the earlier shock. This was the silence of a galaxy making a decision that would determine its survival. High Chancellor Vormax rose slowly from his crystalline throne. Ambassador Vasquez, the hegemonic empire, formally requests immediate military cooperation protocols with Earth's dark matter fleet. One by one, other representatives began standing, adding their voices to what would become history's largest military alliance. Outside, invisible to all sensors except humanity's own, the dark matter warship Event Horizon adjusted its gravitational fields and began calculating jump coordinates for the war that was coming. The galaxy had finally seen what humanity was capable of when they stopped hiding. Now they would see what humanity could accomplish when they stopped fighting alone.